All right. What is going on, everybody? Peace, power, and profit to the family. Uncle Jasaneb, all the warm and grateful salutation that goes out to you awesome and extraordinary people who I love coming in front of any day I'm given the opportunity to. It is definitely a privilege, and I always like to make sure before I get started in my commentary that I pay homage to the family, right? The village, the tribe, the crew, right? Right? The set, so to speak, right? Because without you guys' participation in this, of course, there would be no need for me even to be on here. Hence, the only reason why I'm on here is because of you all, because I think we share something that's very unique and something that's very uncommon, but it's very common, right? And that is our interest in financial literacy when it comes to investing in these financial markets, forex, crypto, equities, you name it, we're there. Beyond that, just our entrepreneur endeavors, right? So again, alike minds, right? Steel sharpens steel, right? And pretty much everybody on here that I know have met, have came in contact with over the time, has proven themselves to be nothing short of just solid steel, right? Because again, we are doing something that most people cower at. They whimper at the ideal of learning how to manage their own assets, their own money, presenting an opportunity where they can grow, right? Some dollars, right? From basically pennies, right? That stuff scares a lot of people. They're not cut from a certain cloth that we are. And so for me, again, I think it's always uh, 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 relevant that I need to speak to that because a lot of you all may have dissenting views from other people who may hang out around you, who may not understand why you're up late studying, why you're talking all this different talk or this different lingo when it comes to investing in stocks and Dogecoin and Bitcoin and forex pairs and you name it, options. That stuff is foreign to a lot of people who are comfortable, again, being on the clock, waiting for somebody else to cut them a check. No disrespect to that reality. We all been there, done there, did that. But I always say, in essence, if you really want to catapult your life, you got to learn how to lead your life. And of course, when it comes to being financially responsible, being a fiduciary to your own household, your own life, your own reality, even the group of people that hang around you is something to be commended. And it is a great privilege. So again, I like to always shout out the family. Thank you all for tuning in and realizing that. Again, you guys know my plight. I'm always trying to go above and beyond to deliver something worth edifying your particular investment prowess, your understanding of how to be more poised when it comes to looking at your money from a positive perspective, not so much what you don't have, but what you're going to acquire, right? Because that's what we do over here. We focus on our strengths and not our weaknesses, right? Weaknesses are definitely a daily crutch. Those things have no place in your life. Trust me. It's just pretty much another operative of the word fear, right? Basically, a lot of uncertainty, right? Right? As they say in the market, we call it FUD, right? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? So with that being said, again, thank y'all for tuning in. Again, I'm not going to be on here long. I like to always premise the conversation that way, because I want to kind of be, brief to the point. And so today, I'm pretty sure you guys are witnessing a lot of different things happening. Fireworks are popping off from on all aspects of your trading in trading platforms, from the crypto side to the equity side, right? Even the forex market is popping, right? So, of course, nothing new that we haven't planned for, nothing new that we wasn't positioned for, nothing new that we were not necessarily ready to profit from. We were already ready, right? I repeat, right? We were already ready, right? And then thinking and then moving under that mentality, it provides you the conviction you need, it provides you the patience you need, and it provides you the ability to capture some of this money, right? And so these days are no more than just what we like to kind of look at the market as what? These are volatility given days. These are the days that day traders wake up for every single day, right? Nothing new here, right? Nothing new here. A lot of people are panicking. I get it, right? But those are people who wasn't what? They didn't have a plan. They wasn't positioned properly, right? They were somewhat chasing as opposed to necessarily, strategizing, right? That's the difference between a lot of us, because some people don't realize the gravity of what it takes to position yourself in a place where you're going to, number one, again, like I said before, control the outcome of your money, control the outcome of your income, right? And we use these financial vehicles as called stocks, right? Equities, wherever you want to call them, right? Taking a stakeholding in the company, whatever, right? We use these financial vehicles purposely for a reason and a purpose. Not so much that we have the liberty to invest in the markets or trade them. We use them to be able to be profitable, right? And along that journey, of course, you're going to have bumps and bruises. You're going to get your head knocked off a couple of times, right? For lack of better terminology there, right? You're going to lose some money, right? That's a part of growth in any aspect. Going to college, you're going to lose money. Starting a job, you're going to start out losing money, right? Right? Again, think about it. Life is set up where you have to go through the fire, so to speak, right? Some of that could be hot for others. Some of it may not be as hot. Depends on how fast you learn how to be disciplined, right? Right? We have this thing where we say discipline equals dollars, right? You cannot skip the discipline, right? And knowledge is power, and power obviously equals profit. Since I always say that knowledge brings power, power equals profit. You cannot be the king, queen, Oba, Ilba, whatever of your life if someone else is dictating your every move. And when we say that, meaning being able to control the resources that you are able to acquire, right? So with that being said, you have to obtain a certain level of skill set that no one can bar you from, take from you, shut you out from opportunity with. And when I look around the world of I guess employment, so to speak, there's not too many opportunities out there that allow you to have such privilege like that, unless you are, again, the employer, right? The one who's employing other people, right? To be in control of your destiny, quote unquote, right? So again, you guys have a specific set of skills that people, again, would love to have. They would love to have the intestinal fortitude that you guys have, how you stomach the volatility in markets, and learning how to sift through all this kind of political rhetoric that moves the markets as well. Right? Again, these things ought to be commended because you're learning how to think and move like an executive, right? Think about that for a moment. Let that sit in, let that marinate. You're learning how to think and move like an executive. And that's what it takes to be the author, right, of your own existence, right? You have to realize that. You cannot be bamboozled. You cannot be tricked. You cannot be misled. You cannot be somewhat, a sucker for anybody that's trying to kind of present you opportunity when definitely there's not a straight line or a path to achieving that, meaning a certain criteria, right? Then, of course, at that point, don't waste your time because we're always talking about over here the least path of resistance, right? The least path of resistance, right? Look around your life, look around your environment, your friends, your family. Figure out what is the least path of resistance to getting you guys to your end goal, right? Be it happiness, be it financial gain, be it opportunity, be it to just find time for self, whatever it is, you got to cut out, all the things that lead you from a place for being kind of, distracted, right? Let me just put it in that perspective, right? The more distracted you are, the more dollars you're going to lose. I repeat, the more distracted you are, the more dollars you are going to lose. It is as simple as that. And I have witnessed it myself many, many times. I've taken my L's like everybody else, and I'm proud to say that, I am a reformed thinker when it comes to realizing, how to cut out a lot of minuscule and trivial things that do not lead me to a better ROI, ROE, any of that when it comes to the betterment of my life. And so I implore you guys to take that mentality as well. If you don't already have them, I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening, you guys already rock that, rock that way because again, you're hanging out with your brother, right? We already move with a different swagger, right? We have a whole new different, pheromone that we release because we're not the average people, right? We're not the average sheep. We're not the average goat. We're not the people who are constantly led by their noses, right? As opposed to being, led by their brains, so to speak. So again, shout out to everybody that's tuning in. Shout out to everybody who understands the power of, entrepreneur energy and what it will take, right? on what it will take to, again, to be the boss that you know you're deserving to be, right? So we got a little family coming in already. Again, I want to make sure I always shout the family out that's coming through the chat. Everybody that may be tuning in on the Facebook side of the house as well, shout out to you all, my family from Instagram, the Discord rooms, everybody, Twitter, everybody. Y'all know my little circles, right? Everybody where I hang out or I see you guys or we cross paths. Again, shout out to you all, right? Shout out, we have Oba Chavez in the building. Peace, power, and profit to you, Oba Chris Woods in the house. Go subscribe to our family YouTube channel. Don't think twice. Oba Chris putting in work, gaining traction, gaining knowledge, right? Gaining followers. Go subscribe to people who obviously what? Uplift exactly what we're talking about, right? Overseas in the building. Peace, power, and profit to you, Oba. Always happy to have you here. Over everything monetizable in the house. What's going on, family? Peace, power, and profit to you as well. Peace, power, and profit to our family. Brother Mathis in the building. Shout out to all you doers, right? You guys are making things happen, right? Peace, power, and profit to the Oba Brandon Jemison in the house. Our resident hospice in the building, right? All things getting it in terms of, edifying and educating. So we love to have the family come through. And again, everybody else that may be listening in, of course, I know you guys are busy. We are almost at the midday hour of the markets. They are all over the place. The SP 500 is doing somersaults like Greg Louganis, right? Yeah, it's one of those type of days, right? We understand when the markets are kind of flip-flopping like this, these are days that, again, we also make money. For a lot of people, they're going to lose money today because, number one, they wasn't positioned properly, they wasn't hedged, and they don't know also how to also play the downside of the market. And there's nothing wrong with that when you're just figuring out, how to learn how to invest, how to figure out how to learn how to trade. And so sometimes the best trade is to trade not taking, to just, basically sit on your hands and just watch things unfold. Take notes, right? Record these things in time, inside your head, right? Through your visual, right? Because again, in doing so, you'll realize that the market, as I've always said many times, is just one big massive pattern and one big massive aspect of trend change, right? And that being up or down, but it still has a value or a similarity of things that we've probably witnessed in the past at some point. Be it there was some kind of particular catalyst, whatever the case, anything that might have caused the market to have any kind of value of volatility is just no more than actually business as usual, right? Business as usual, right? Right? And so again, we're poised for these moments, right? We understand that this is a day to also make money, right? This is a day to also make money. And essentially, as soon as we go to the screens, right, and we start seeing just that, right? We start seeing things like the SP 500 clearly here in a downhill slalom like the Jamaican bobsled team, right? Clearly, we are just kind of sliding, hitting a little moment of speed, speed accumulation, and then slide again. Kind of same thing here. Branch might have been in the middle on the bobsled the trail. You kind of cross that hump, bump up a little bit, and then you go right back down that slalom, so to speak, right? These are the days that we are always, again, positioned for one way or the other, right? Because we realize that no matter how you look at this, for somebody that just came into the market yesterday, of course, they're feeling the pain, right? They're feeling the pain, right? Because they were up here around 418. They were feeling confident about their position. It happens, right? Again, as we say, entry is everything, right? It's like first impressions, right? We get that. It's everything, right? You're learning how to strategically put a plan together, whether you can, set up a good environment to allow your money to work for you. And if you come in right out the gate and you say, well, dang, I kind of got in too soon, right? Well, I would say this here, not necessarily. Not necessarily, right? There's always going to be a moment where you'll have to, again, go through the so-called the fire like everyone else has at some point, right? Because markets don't have a set mandate to always just go in the biased direction that you so choose. We get it. Everybody wants to make money right out the gate, right? And sometimes you have to realize that, okay, well, if I might have came in at a point where there's an inflection in the market, or there may be a downside energy that's permeating around the marketplace because, XYZ, right? There's issues today with China, right? There's issues with the Taiwan, and there's still Russia and Ukraine. There's China when it comes to, dealing with intellectual property, and Tesla and its issues, and Microsoft with Bill Gates. Again, there's always a tabloid out there. But one thing that remains to be constant is that someone is making money today either way you look at it, right? Either way you look at it, someone is making money today, right? And so I like to say, always make sure you're on the right side of the trade, right? Well, that ain't always as easy as said, brother African Poor. Of course it's not, but it does come with what? Practice. It does come with patience. It does come with perspective, right? And you cannot skip those things if you want to be a consistent investor or a consistent trader, right? In this new endeavor of yours, right? You cannot skip those things. There's no get rich quick reality when it comes to markets. Now, it could happen, meaning you can get lucky, right? You can get lucky in the markets, and that's a good thing as well. Do not get it twisted. I'll be the first one to tell you, don't let anyone downplay you making money in the market. Well, they say that was luck. You got lucky and made that money. So be it. Guess what? The cash register already run. And that's also what makes these markets exciting, because any given day you can be in that runner, right? You can find that little stock, that little outlier, right? You could be around, a group of people speaking about some little stock they might have heard from this, that, and the third. And all you know, you got your little Robinhood account, your Webull, or your TD or whatever, TD Ameritrade, and you got your couple of dollars in there. You say, okay, let me go see what these people talk about. I don't know a whole lot, but I'm gonna see exactly what they talk about. I'm gonna test this theory. And you get into the asset, right? And what did the asset do? It jumps and runs. Next thing you know, you up, 40, 60 bucks, 100 bucks, 200, 300 bucks, and you're like, man, this is nice, right? Man, if it's this easy, I could do this every day, right? But we know, as the ones who are more experienced, that it typically doesn't happen every day, but it can happen any day, right? I repeat, it does not happen every day, but it can happen any day, right? And so we want to focus on the any day, being positioned, being ready, being poised, being patient, right? Strategizing, finding that, that diamond in the rough, quote unquote, or that runner that everybody's excited about, right? There's three things, again, like we like to say, that you cannot skip in this journey, right? In this endeavor to learn to be a strategic investor and trader, right? And the first one is your technical analysis, understanding what these charts are, right? These charts are, right? This battleground, quote unquote, that you see here, right? What are all the parameters that make up this scalable, asset, what's the word? I'm just trying to find some great adjectives to kind of make it make sense, like simple stuff, right? This is a blueprint to value or to money, how people are utilizing this asset in terms of the SPY. We'll use this one specifically since we're here, as a tool, a financial tool to profit off of, right? Meaning the buyers and the sellers, right? How people are favoring this stock or not so necessarily favoring it over others, right? And in doing so, there's going to be a shift, right? There's going to be volatility. There's going to be people saying, not today, right? And for some people, it's going to be like, oh, today is today, because they're taking a directional bias against the money movement within this stock, be it out or be it in. I repeat, be it out or be it in, right? Because you can make money, again, when stocks are going down. I repeat, you can make money when stocks are going down, right? We know it to be short selling, right? It's called short selling, right? Or just plain old fashioned, more people are selling than those who are buying. And so there's this deflationary aspect in terms of the asset being at a price where it was before. Now it is reduced. Now, typically when a lot of people see that, they're kind of nervous. They don't understand, what do I do? Is this how this stuff really works? Or am I just going to constantly lose money? But here's the irony within that, right? Is that if they realize that the goal ultimately that they signed up for was to buy low and sell high, they'll realize that this is no more than just that kind of reality, right? Where does it settle? Where do I buy in at a lower price? Well, therein lies where the hard work comes in. Hard work within that is just understanding how to read these charts, right? How to understand technical analysis, using your moving averages, your VWAP, the Bollinger Bands, and the Fibonacci retracement sequence, whatever you use, right? The Ikimoku cloud, right? Again, the Elliott wave, you name it. There's an oscillator or an indicator out there that will give you some kind of form of an advantage or an optical advantage of what's going on with the markets, right? That's just from the visual aesthetics. Beyond that, there's also a fundamental story, right? That's the second thing. The fundamental story is basically just what's moving the market. Is there something behind it, right? There's some kind of news or an event, right? As we know it to be a catalyst that's driving people to feel a certain way about the markets, right? Do they feel, conflicted, that today is a day where the market should be selling off a little bit because there's nothing really to be moving at this point, right? Again, it could be, international, news reels that are complicating our intraday trading strategy because, people are worried about what may happen on the international side of things, right? There's a lot of different moving parts. But I always say this, here's where it gets very interesting because people are like, well, how do I keep up with all that throughout the day? Well, you already do it involuntarily. If you have a smartphone, laptop, cell phone, computer, you get news updates like everyone else. If not, you got other people talking about things within your feed or at the job, at the water cooler, in the bathroom, at the restaurant. You may even hear your boss speak about it, right? When they're discussing business, right? Today, we're having, a shift, right? In our production due to this, that, the third, right? We have a commodity, issue right now because the price of the goods, the raw material that we need to make our products is starting to go up a little bit. So we're gonna have to scale back on some other things to make up for that, right? Be it we're gonna cut some hours or whatever the case, right? Though everything has a synonymous entanglement, right? In the words of our sister Jada Pinkett, right? Right? Everything is caught up in some kind of form of entanglement. When it comes to commerce, right? When it comes to global commerce, everything is interconnected. It's basically what I'm saying, right? So even though you're at the job right now and you may not be invested in the market, you may not understand all this stuff at this point, and you're trying to realize that, well, where do I fit into this? Well, you definitely fit into this because you are making up the so-called what we know to be is what? The marketplace. Right? You're just doing it from a different perspective, right? From an employee perspective, right? You're building up that company. That company's now taking that money, reporting it to the IRS, the government as a whole, and that output value goes into the overall bigger picture of our economic perspective, right? Our economic situation, right? So technically, you are invested in the market. You're just doing it from a place where you're not necessarily in control of the situation. Does that make sense? Because essentially, that's what you're doing. Right? Essentially, that's what you're doing every day if you don't have necessarily, true, as I say, skin in the game, right? When I say true skin in the game, I'm talking about that real skin, right? Them greenbacks, right? When you're able to put your money out of your savings account, your bank account, into a financial vehicle, into a brokerage account, and say, well, I think this stock here has this level of potential, or this has this level of growth ahead of itself, right? And say, I'm going to now entrust this money to go and work for me while I go do other things in my life. Let that marinate for a moment. Who would not want to be in such a scenario? Only a person who's comfortable and feeling like they can never accomplish nothing on their own and they need to be led by the hand. Well, I don't know too many people like that. Well, not in my circles, I should say. And if so, that's fine because, again, you have to reach a point where you realize that, again, you are the author of your journey, your existence. You have to accept that. Stop putting the onus on everything else, anybody else, whatever, and start realizing you control your moment, right? As some people say, you control your destiny. In a lot of ways, you do, right? So it comes with being number one, knowledgeable, right? When you get the knowledge, then you establish a level of power, conviction, right? Confidence, right? With that new power, right? With that new confidence, right? That conviction, then you can start reaping the benefits of it, right? Right? You can start making those executive moves that we spoke about, right? Again, be it in investing. It's the best business model literally on the planet, if you ask me, right? I'm a big proponent of that because I realize, right? Being an investor or a trader, it is the best business model on the planet. What is your overhead, right? What does it require you to really get into this? You could be a novice person fresh off the block yesterday, get a brokerage account, which obviously would like to always say is much easier than even open up a bank account, like super easy. And you can make the type of money that runs circles around, sitting around, put your money in the bank, watching that money get dusty and have no value to it whatsoever. Right? So again, it's really a no-brainer. but it does come with a level of fear because we've not been conditioned to look at ourselves as capable to do such things. You know why? Because a lot of our early education did not prepare us for this. Pretty much didn't prepare us for this, and a lot of our parents may not have, right? Not directly, indirectly, some of their moves, yes, but directly sitting you down saying, hey, hey, this is the markets, right? This is where everything has opportunity, afforded to those who take the advantage to want to learn this thoroughly. And if you learn it now, by the time you turn, 16, 17, 18, whatever, all right, you're going to be positioned and well taken care of because you'll never have to depend on someone to cut your check, someone to give you an opportunity, right? Someone to tell you when you can and cannot go to the bathroom, quote unquote, right? You're going to eliminate that by having a skill set, again, that follows you anywhere around the world. You can use this literally on the beach, right? On vacation, right? Whatever you're doing, you can have access to this unlimited pool of money, right? Again, no cap, no ceiling. It's about your Your skill set, your hunger, your patience, and your persistence. So again, with that being said, this is why we're here. And so today is one of those days where we're assessing those type of things and we're saying, okay, we're in a pullback today, right? We're in a discount day, right? What do I mean by discount? Today, the market is going, becoming cheaper. Essentially, if the modus operandi is to buy low, sell high, then guess what? We accept that as opportunity, right? There are no bad days in the market. I know that sounds crazy to say. I know that sounds very crazy to say, but there are no bad days in the market, right? Because again, someone is making money, literally money right now while the market is coming down. I'm one of them, to be exact, right? And I'm pretty sure some of y'all as well, right? Especially some of my option traders out there that got those puts in the market today, right? We're trading against the market today, meaning it's coming down, and we're going to make money on this thing coming down the same way we've made money on it going up, right? That has to be phenomenal when you think about it truly. We have that level of power, right? We have that level of opportunity, again, afforded to us at any given moment, right? And so again, the third thing is price action, right? Investor sentiment, right? Basically everything I just been speaking about here, right? Leading out of the fundamental story is the last thing, which is your energy. How do you feel about the market? How do you feel about this particular stock, a particular stock, right? What's driving you to feel comfortable about or confident to want to invest in it or trade it, right? And typically, if other people are thinking just like you, because there might have been something that might have caused that, that newfound interest in the stock, again, news or people talking about it. Of course, now we're moving into things like Dogecoin, right? Now we're moving into the realm of Dogecoin, right? Because it's becoming a household name. Well, guess what that does, right? It sparks more of an interest, right? It sparks more curiosity, right? And when curiosity obviously overtakes you, right, to the point where you can't control it, it forces you to to research. Well, thoroughly, it should force you to research. Not act on emotions, just go out there and do something like in a one-off event. No, that's when you need to research thoroughly. Let your curiosity lead you to be a great detective, right, of markets, of this newfound asset. What is this? How do I trade this, this Dogecoin? What's the true value of it? Is there any value to it? I heard it's a gag coin, right? It was something that was born out of a joke, so to speak. So, do I feel comfortable putting my money in something like this, that of an asset? It's a joke, right? But there's always a lane for everybody. See how that works? You may not put it in Doge, but you'll say, I like Apple because Apple has products. It has cell phones and laptops and computers and Tim Cook and AirPods and everything else, right? This new chip there. That's fine because that's what makes up the marketplace, makes it so dynamic, right? There's something for everybody. There's a lane for everybody. And what you will realize over the years, all the time that you spend learning this, ultimately you'll figure out that, oh, it's not so much about the name. It's about the energy behind it. How do other people feel about it? What they're willing to pay for? And if you can capture some of that same essence, then guess what? That's what matters ultimately at the end of the day. Companies will come and go. Some do stand the test of time. I get it. But you're realizing, just like you go to the marketplace and you may have your favorite chips that you like, and per se, if the store runs out those chips, right, or somehow the company that makes them discontinues those chips, what's going to happen? Are you going to stop eating chips altogether? Are you going to say, I'm done with potato chips because my favorite chip is no longer around? Chances are you're not. You're going to go find another favorite. You see how that works? You're going to go find another company that can provide you something that meets your standard. So that's how the markets work. That's why they call it a marketplace, right? It's a lot of different opportunities to what? Supplant yourself in this place and figure out where are the great products at? Where are the great opportunities at, right? Where are, the places that a lot of people are shopping? Where are they shopping at, right? Again, these things are, in my opinion, again, it's like waking up every day like Christmas. It's like waking up every day and it feels like Christmas because you can say to yourself, you know what, under the circumstances, under my, my study and my research, if things work out the way I want to be, using this level of set of capital that I have afforded to me today, I should be able to capture at least a minimum of this amount. Essentially, you're writing yourself a paycheck every day if you obviously trade the market in an intraday perspective. This is what we call intraday trading. But ultimately, you have the ability to write yourself a paycheck. Someone else has to literally watch the clock tick hour for hour to feel confident that they just made a certain amount of money per hour. Right? The slow grind, watching paint dry. Again, nothing wrong with that. Not going in on people who have that perspective. What I'm saying is that why not, take that, build upon it, and make it better. Utilizing some of the assets that you have, that you acquire through working for someone else, and use some of that to also go out and work for you. You see how that works? Put everything to work around you. I repeat, put everything to work that is around you. Don't be afraid to be a nerd. Don't be afraid to be intelligent. Don't be afraid to be sharp. Don't play dumb, because doing so only will prohibit you from the level of growth that you really should be living. In terms of how there's no value in waiting to be great. There's no value in that. There's no way you can placate, greatness, right? You have to accept that you are in control. So be intelligent. Go out your way to be intelligent. Learn much as you possibly can withstand. And then go out there and conquer the world under your terms. Simple as that. So these financial vehicles are just that, right? These financial vehicles are just that, right? Again, you choose the asset, we'll choose the opportunity, whether or not, we can build upon, make money, whatever, right? Again, AMC, right? We know AMC is a meme stock, right? We say meme stock, this is a part of the what, right? The crave, right? The meme stock crave, right? The game stock, right? Whatever, right? Whatever, right? And in doing so, you learn a lot about, again, these assets, right? It's down today, right? Because it's trading in correlation. When we say correlation, it's trading because the ultimate stock that everybody watches in terms of investor sentiment is what? The SPY, right? Again, America's top 500 companies, right? Everybody sees that if these companies are not doing so well, then that kind of obviously drags the other parts of the market down too. So AMC is obviously one of those stocks that's down today because of that as well. And they actually have earnings coming up this week. So that's another reason why they're under a little pressure. People not necessarily comfortable where their earnings might go at this point. They're still trying to rebound because of COVID. Again, we talk about theaters, right? Going to the movies, right? But yet and still, you say, well, man, they don't look too good today, man. This stock is not necessarily the best, right? This must be a bad company, right? But you're looking at it from a small window in time, right? You're looking at this from a day's worth of what? Reactionary what? Selling. But if I was to back this thing up by the week, oh, right? Oh, this looks different. See me tell me literally around the first of this year, literally the fourth day, in January of this year, this stock was trading at $2.28. And I see that it spiked up. Apparently, this little green candle here, whatever this is, it's showing that it went up as high as $20 a share. And about what, 21 days after that 228 price? So essentially, it went up near, wow, 1,000% almost. You got to be kidding me, right? Well, not that much, but in essence, when people start thinking about it, like, oh, does it go up that much? Roughly $2 to $20. It's a lot, right? And like that was on $2.28 back in January. That's what we're talking about here. Before that, look what was the stock doing? We're just going sideways. Just going sideways. Ebb and flow, right? And then it broke out. Right? We was a part of that move too, actually, just for a disclaimer, right? For transparency. We were a part of that move, right? We were a part of that move down here at the $2, $3 level, and we ate every bit of that move up to $20 too. Right? Oh man, that was a great trade. Those $50 buy-in for those calls that we bought at the $350 strike price, man, that $50 turned into like what, near 2,000? Couldn't make this stuff up. Literally, $50 turned in around about $1,800 and change. Couldn't make this stuff up, right? That's why we love this stuff, right? That's exactly why we love this stuff, right? And the same way that it pulled back off that big massive run, that that blast off, that parabolic move. Well, guess what? You also could turn around and make money on the way back down, right? Trade against some of that euphoria, right? And essentially, that's what we're doing in terms of the traders aspect. The investors aspect says, guess what? I'm still long this stock from 228, $2, whatever, because it has potential to come back from this COVID stuff. So you're not worried about all of this, all of that, back up to here, back over here, back over here. You're not worried about all that. You're saying at this $2 entry point that I bought 1,000 shares at, right, and I paid a couple $1,000 for that. Right now at even $9, I'm up, beautifully here. I'm up beautifully here. I'm up well over near 500%, close to 500%. Excuse me, close to 500%. And just a matter of what? 4 months. Now I ask people a very simple question: does your money market account that you have with your favorite bank that you just love to speak about, brag about, are they offering you a return about 400% right now, or at least the opportunity to acquire 400% on your money that's sitting in there right now? I'll wait. So convince me how you're winning with dead money, dead presidents, literally dead presidents sitting on the sideline, while other people who are, high schoolers, college kids, those of us who are obviously, entrepreneurs and heart and spirit and mind and practice, are realizing that these financial vehicles offer up a great way to grow your money. Right? Again, no brainer. So I always tell people, pick your poison, right? Pick your opportunity, right? Find your opportunity. Again, you name it, right? Some of you guys probably got packages coming in today from Amazon, right? Well, today Amazon is what? It's coming down today. And that's fine and dandy. But it doesn't negate the fact that this company still has what? Value. And so people see this as a what? Oh, this is a discount moment. If it goes lower, guess what? That means it's just cheaper to what? Acquire more of it. It doesn't take away the fact that Amazon is a phenomenal brand, company, movement, you name it. Business model, they do more than sell packages, right? They even have a logistical service that the military uses. Couldn't make this stuff up. They are at that level now. So again, don't be, confused because you see things are coming down as if this is the end of the world, right? There's always an underlying story, if you will, that's behind it in a lot of ways. And where you may see it as a negative, some people are going to see this as a positive, because guess what? They didn't get a chance to get into this stock, like I said before, same way we did with what? With the AMC stock. when it was trading at what? Oh, I'm sorry, at $3,000 a share? Oh, my bad. Well, how about when it was basically down here at $2,500 a share? Literally last year, around June of last year, $2,500 a share. And it went up as high as like 3,600. Not even a full year. Not even a full year. And you do that percentage value in that, you say, oh man, that's a great return on investment. So inevitably, when you look at it, it's like, well, man, there's really no wrong moment. It's an understanding of being strategic in knowing when to pull the trigger, right? When to pull the trigger. And that's what study, training, charting, again, group conversation, workshops, environment, getting with other people so y'all can think tank together to figure out ways to learn how to corner the market, to dumb it down, quote unquote, so to speak. Right? That's what this is about. Right? And so just because it seems as if, man, I chose the wrong day, right, to get invested in the markets. Well, there's opportunities around you being able to not necessarily just stay in the stock at that point you got in. You can always sell it, get back in at a cheaper price, right? You can also say, well, I'll let it kind of, make its little move down, let it start selling out a little bit. When you start seeing these kind of flat line scenarios that seems to be establishing some level of support where buyers are coming in saying, I think this is kind of the bottom, right? Well, people are like, well, how do you ever find out what is the bottom, right? The $1 million question, right? Well, it comes with patience. It comes with understanding how to read, again, as we call it the tea leaves, right? Where the money flow obviously begins to now revolve, the way that it does from a cyclical perspective, right? Back around. So right now it's selling. At some point, the selling is going to dry up to a degree, and buyers will come back in. And you will see that noted by even looking at these the sale volume bars in a lot of ways, right? When it's consistent red, that means a lot of people are still selling. When the green begins to pick up again actively where it doesn't seem so, hit or miss, well, that means people are starting to feel a little bit more confident about the stock. And that's just from a very basic, natural eye observation of this stuff before you get into learning how to really read charts and using moving averages and using, supply and demand points, support resistance points, pivot points, right? Channels, right? Again, peak to trough levels, right? Those are things that becomes a little bit more intricate, but you will get there if you just remain patient and realize that it's always going to be a buyer's market either way you look at it. Why? Because there's no other assets out there that gives you the return on your money than that of equities in the market. Second to that would be real estate. Find me another opportunity out there that yields you the level of opportunity, right? That yields you the level of opportunity than that of financial vehicles or stocks give you. Go. And so somewhat by default, it becomes really, not the only game in town, but the best game in town. It becomes the best game in town. And what do I mean by that? Because everybody has access to it. You cannot be discriminated, from taking advantage of this because of who you are, how you think, the way you move. None of those things matter here. And you can just soon to open up a brokerage account fast, and you can go down to the store and buy you a bag of chips and a soda, because again, they just only thing they care about, can you fund it? Can you put money into it? Okay, that's all we need to know. Who are you? Okay, you're this person, John Doe, Jane Doe. Okay, great, we know that, so we can make sure the IRS is notified in the event you're making money. Okay, outside of that, you're good to go. And it's as simple as that. Right. So again, just kind of reality walk today, or reality talk today, right? Yeah, markets are doing what they're designed to do, right? This is called ebb and flows for a reason, right? It's called ebb and flows for a reason. It's called what? Peak to trough for a reason, right? It's called, again, buyers and sellers for a reason, right? And it is not to be an intimidation value just because you see it, coming down like, oh man, this is the end of the world. I mean, you look at stocks like Tesla. Oh man, this is not this shouldn't be happening. This is Tesla, right? This is Elon Musk, right? This should not be happening. It's only like the best company on the planet, right? Again, throw in your favorite, you know, spiel about how you love Tesla. But Tesla is what also not anti what gravity. It has moments where it has the what inflection point, reflection points. Reflect on where they've come from, where they are today, and where they could potentially go tomorrow. Doesn't make them a bad investment if you say to yourself, well, the fact that the stock is coming down from $700 and it's now down at $662, it must be something wrong with the company. Really? And you ask a very simple question. What's wrong with the company? You start to research from what is wrong. That will lead you to figure out whether or not you feel like this is a great opportunity or not. See how that works? You're going to research everything that has potential value to you, or the ideal of what it could be, and potentially sometimes what it may not be. Either way, that curiosity will lead you to figure out a thesis, right? Based on your theory, it will lead you to a more profound thesis on what this stock is all about, what this company is all about, and whether or not it is a growth company. And if all signs after you've done that research leads you to what? Oh, this is really good. It's cheaper, right? Because where did it come from? Oh, it was at $600, literally what? Okay. Last month? Okay. Not bad. And it went all the way up to like what? Oh, okay. Up here? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, the stock must be pretty decent. Now it's just kind of getting a little cheaper again. Okay. Well, let's go a little further back. Oh, you mean to tell me this thing was $400? Literally November of last year? And it went up as high as near over 800. So it went over 100%. It went up over 100% in a matter of 2 months. So from November to January, it went from 400 to 800. Oh, okay. And then 900. Oh, over 100%. Okay, I see why people are excited about this little stock. Might be on something here. See how that works? Curiosity will lead you to research. Curiosity will lead you to do the necessary legwork to become more familiar with the landscape you're now trying to travel down, right? Or on. See how this stuff works? You can't skip it. You can't shortcut this opportunity. Again, like I said, you can be lucky, but there's no consistency in luck. There is no consistency in luck. Good luck trying to be consistent at it, right? Literally good luck, right? Some things do require you have to sit down, dissect it a little bit, come up with some understanding knowledge of how this stuff works, and then you can go out there and be the best you could be at it. Knowledge brings power, and power will equal profit. So guess what? Oh, Tesla was only $200. It was only $200 last year. Last year, this stock was at $200 a share, and it went up to $800. Wow, are you kidding me? So you're talking about 800 value? Oh, dang near what? 400%? Wow. See how that works? There's always a backstory. There's always a backstory, right? So take the time to look back in order to figure out where we are today. That's just in life in general, right? You cannot erase the history because it doesn't suit how you want to value and view where you are today. It does not work that way. Without the historical precedence, there would be no guideline, no rubric, no blueprint, no schematics, no nothing to build upon your now present going into future tense reality. So don't be afraid of the past, right? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Don't be afraid of the past, right? There's a lot of lessons and jewels and gems that's, in this case, when we look at these historical moments on this chart, right? There's a lot of knowledge loaded in this past movement in Tesla stock. How did it even get to where it's at today? Well, there's a story that has guided, to this point. Go back and read that story. All these different days, these months, these weeks, whatever, the time, the hours of all of that has a particular story wrapped up into it. news and events and uh, again, bigger geopolitical scenario, you name it. Elon Musk tweeting, right, speaking about certain things. You name it, there's a story there. So again, if you're already a type of person who loves getting into those kind of conversation discussions like on your Facebook or your social media, then learn how to do it when it comes to reading these financial assets that can pay you for your knowledge. It will pay you for your gossip, right? It will pay you for your observation. No brainer. You're giving Facebook free ad revenue. You talk about certain things, they pop up ads that market to you for those things. Google, Twitter, same way. So they're trying to get money out of you, right? They're trying to get money out of you. Over here, we're trying to get money out of them. I repeat, we're trying to get money out of them. See how that works? Stop backwards hustling. Stop convincing yourself you cannot learn this. Stop convincing yourself that you got time to just wait. Knowledge brings power. Power equals profit. Simple as that. Right? So, today, of course, shout out to the bearish traders, right? Hence, you see my picture, right? Shout out to the bearish traders, right? Because, again, they have just as much, a position or place in this market as everybody else, right? Again, you got to know how to make money in any environment. When things are hot, when they are not, when they're whatever. Because again, someone is making money today. And just off this little pivot in the S&P 500 alone, somebody just bought this 412 support level, right? This 412 support level, right? Let me get over here to my chart really quick here. And they're up now. They're up some money right now, right? And this is it. I'm going to show you how lovely this stuff is, right? This 412 area here where you double bottom, so to speak here, right? Hit there earlier, bounce, came back down and hit it again. Now it's bouncing, right? So they're trying to supplant that 412 is the support point today for the S&P 500. Those who are obviously trying to protect their assets, their money, they're saying, okay, that should be the bottom. Let's go higher now. Well, that's still to be determined, but as of now, someone is making money off that. They're up essentially $1.20 off that 412 buy-in point. That's magnified if you trade options, of course, because you're getting 100 shares of implied value or a value, for a fraction of the price, essentially. So right now they're already up, about $100 and change if they bought, at the money or in the money, call option at 412 strike, level there, I should say, right? They're up about $130-$140 right now in one call buy. And that is magnified if they bought multiple contracts. See how that stuff works? Now, that was every bit of what? These are 5-minute candlesticks that you see here for every bar. That's the equivalent of 5 minute worth of trading. So that's literally 5, 10, what we got? 5, 10, 15 minutes worth of trading. 15 minutes worth of trading has now yielded you a minimum of one contract at the money or in the money of this S&P 500 contract, about $130-$140. Now I ask the question, how many of you guys make $130-$140 per hour on your job right now? Go. Anybody? How many of you guys make $130-$140 per contract? Right? You got to think about that for a moment, right? Well, over here, that just happened. That just transpired. And it costs you a fraction of the price to be able to invest in such an opportunity, to get in on that move, quote unquote, right? To be a part of that, right? Again, the opportunities are endless, right? So if we say to ourselves, okay, well, let me go see what this brother talking about, right? Can you explain a little bit further? Can you go a little deeper? What do you mean by that? Okay, well let's show you what we're talking about here. All right, let's show you exactly what we're talking about here. If we go over here to our favorite little one of our favorite little apps, all right, barchart.com. Get excited for my option traders, right? If we come right over here to barchart.com, what do we see? Well, we see a litany of different option prices of certain buy points or sell points of what this stock, the S&P 500, right? These contracts that we're speaking about here in terms of option trading, where you're getting essentially 100 shares of value for a fraction of the price of the S&P 500, which is a $413 price target ticket. It costs you $413 to buy one share of the S&P 500, right? This massive index fund that everybody obviously needs to have in their portfolio. Hint, hint, wink, wink, right? But at the point that we were just talking earlier, when it came down and hit that 412 area, right? It came down and hit that 412 area, right? Well, right now, the contracts are registering at this point that they're going to cost you $2.64 a contract. Essentially, that means that's time 100 because you're getting 100 shares worth of value of this asset for a fraction of the price. So that would have cost you $264. Now, that's where it's at right now. 15 minutes ago, it was a lot cheaper. It was a lot cheaper, right? Because this is it's not reflecting it right now in real time that it's changing, of course, but it has changed since 15 minutes ago to reflect a higher price. Why? Because the stock has gone higher since then. See how that works? All right, and if I refresh it, of course, if I just sit here and keep refreshing it, you'll see the price, changing and going up and going down and whatever, right? See right here? Now it's at 205. That's 60 cents cheaper, basically $60 cheaper now, right, than what it was before. Because it has what? Now, come down some in price from what we were looking at earlier, up here, see? It was at 413.40 something. Now it's down to 413.20, 17, whatever. So it's cheaper again for that same position. Before, when it was higher, that means that was the amount of money that it had accumulated and made, from its initial point where it was down a little cheaper. It has now bounced and gone higher. See how that works? It's making money. You're saying it happening right now in real. Well, this is not showing it reflecting in real time, but it is literally happening in real time as we speak. Right, and of course, the most advanced aspect of this is when you go to read its particular, levelings, right? Leveling agents within it. Meaning, we call this the Greeks, right, or the quote unquote the true wizard behind the curtain, right? All these different factors that move this this contract into some kind of value, right? It's ability to hold its value. It's a ability to attract more buyers to this pool of people who want to buy this particular strike price or this price point of this S&P 500 as an options trade. They're trying to figure out where is everybody else excited about this trade at, right? And it's allocated by reading the ideal of where the volume is at. The volume only means what? The total number of shares of contracts traded for the day. Meaning this is what people are buying right now in real time. This is the cumulative value of what people have bought, like per contract. So if it at the 412 strike price of 10,000 people have bought this, that means that's 10,000 basically times whatever the price of the normal value of what that contract would have been when people start really picking up and buying it. And we'll just say anything from maybe $1.50 to where it was at $2.64 when we looked at it earlier. That notion of value is to be, just think about that. That's a lot of money. That's coming in and out all day, every day. And the further you go down, you see large, massive amount of contracts coming in this asset. That's what makes this stuff awesome, because somebody else is thinking like the next person. Necessarily mean that it's always going to go the direct way that they want it to go, meaning if it's just going to continue to go up, 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 up. But at the moment when they bought, they had a plan to say, I think this is a great time to buy it here because it's going to bounce, meaning it's going to have a moment where the stock hits a base point and bounce and go higher from here. Now, will it last throughout the rest of the day? That's to be determined. But as of now, I'm playing for a particular goal here. If I can just get 1 point worth of movement, when we say 1 point, meaning from 412 to 413, I'll cash out there. See how that works? And they'll buy 4 or 5 contracts, 10, 20, whatever their money can withstand, and they'll get that value worth of movement in that short period of time, sell, and be done. That's what we're talking about here. The opportunities that are just always afforded to you, where anything can happen at any given moment. And you can find yourself on the winning side of a trade because the energy or the sentiment of the market just changed ever so slightly, just for a brief moment. As opposed to just selling off, now it is bouncing, kind of coming back up a little bit. Right? Because it hit a nice discount point for some people. At that point, it was a 412 price point. It was at 412 price point. Right? On a more bigger scale, right? When we come over here to, per se, let's go to bar chart, or not necessarily bar chart, but Trading View, again, one of our another favorite websites that we like to have, right? That we love going to chart the markets and read these different technical analysis points. Look what the market what it's doing right here on this daily chart. You see this blue or Carolina blue little indicator here, this line here is called a 20-day moving average, meaning it's a trailing 20-day guideline or timeline in terms of how this stock should be trading or where it should be trading at, given its historical value in terms of how it has moved over a year worth of trading, or just essentially the beginning of this year. Doesn't matter. At this point, it's showing you at this day it should be trading at or around, right? At or around at least a minimum of $410 a share. Well, right now it's at 413.20. So that means it's trading pretty much in line with that of its moving average, right? Its moving average of buyers and sellers that equates to this aggregate value or notional value of what opportunity will give you some kind of signal of saying this is why this stock obviously is at this point. Now, it was a lot higher, of course, 2 or 3 days ago, right? Away from its moving averages. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it also says you that people are now buying more than they are necessarily selling, and essentially they're kind of moving away from its natural price point or where it should be trading at. And typically when you start to see that is just more of an indication that there's now a moment to kind of be a little cautious if you're going to be buying in up here at this point, right? Because you're moving further away from what it should be trading at, which is around 407. But up here is at 420, right? That's a difference around 13 different points. And so, as I always like to say, moving averages act like what? They act like magnets, right? The further you move away from that moving average, the more that moving averages acts like a magnet and begin to pull on you, essentially like that of what polarization does in a magnet, right? So it's pulling on the stock here, right? These little wavy lines will be somewhat like polarity, right? For lack of a better way of drawing it, right? You see it, right? That's polarity, right? That's pulling on this stock to come down a little bit here, right? Now, I don't necessarily mean it's always going to do just that. It's saying that it's trying to find a balance in terms of the level of money coming in, right? And the aspect of where the asset is going naturally, because it has a steady flow of people always wanting to buy the stock or buy the asset. See how that works? Right? So the markets are not necessarily so complicated as one would think. If you're new to this, you're just realizing, okay, it's like a flea market, right? There's a lot of different stalls inside the flea market. Some people have better products than others. Some people have unique items. Some people whatever, right? And those who seem to get a lot of business are people who obviously, or aspects of products or services that obviously seems to present themselves in a way where people just want the product. They want the experience of the service, whatever the case. And so you will find that in a lot of different stocks, a lot of different companies. It's no different. Again, French's mustard or Heinz mustard, whatever, right? Or better yet, maybe Hunt's. You see how that works? There's always going to be a product for everybody. Some do better than others, granted. because they are considered what we call best in breed. So your investment thesis a lot of times should be what? Understood that you're trying to realize who are the best in breed opportunities out there because they give you a better bang for your buck, value wise. Now there's also opportunity where you can invest in a stock because it's what? Just because everybody else is excited about it, because it's at a point where it's still young, it's still growing, it may be a superlative story behind it, and you will end up something like this. You'll end up with something like this, where literally a day ago this stock was trading at $1.20 a share. Before that, it was trading at $1.17, somewhere at $1.17 a share. Literally about a day ago. And today it's at $3.19. Let that marinate. So this stock is up well over 150 some odd percent today. A stock that was traded at $1 and change. So when people say, well, I don't have any money to get started, and man, okay, well, if you'd have had $1.17, $1.20 in the stock yesterday, well, today it'll be worth $3 and change. Convince me how that's some kind of form of witchcraft, right? Or that's some kind of wizardry, or right? This got to be some kind of what? Some kind of scam, right? It's a scam, right? The scam bird, scam bird, right? Because some people are not used to this, right? They convince themselves that this is something that's outside of their league, outside of their pay grade, and the fact that they don't know equates to that this must be some kind of form of anomaly, right, or a scam. And all they need to realize is that this is a publicly traded company that comes with laws, rules, and regulations, like the same way that it takes you to have that same understanding on your job, rules, regulations, things that you cannot do. Well, this stock is under that same provision in a lot of ways. It's just that over here, you have free range to what? To pick this thing apart. To figure out whether or not you want to invest in it or not. To trade it in a way where you say, this is good because it may be up because of this, because of that, or whatever, right? And take advantage of the same thing that other traders may be doing right now in the same likeness. They're saying, okay, 156%. Oh, this is nice. Right? I got 1,000 on it. Well, if I got 1,000 on it, that means I'm up 156% on that $1,000. That means you're now up what? In totality, near what? $2,500. See how that work? Your 1,000 has now turned into what? Another 1,000 plus 500. See how that works? Now convince me how that's scary, or that's hard work in relation to you couldn't see yourself being in a position to capture that kind of level of income. Besides again going to work for somebody every day. That part. Right? Thank you, Ilva. I just turned over and seen on the YouTube side. I just not saw it. Forgive me. Thank you, Ilva. Shout out to Sister Angie. Humbled by that. Thank you for the donation there. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in as well. Over Zane came to the building. I see you. Over Sunday in the building. Peace, power, and profit to you. Our family contrarian trader came through. Ilva Monica Lamb in the house. Peace, power, and profit to the family. Y'all know I'm late. Y'all know I'm slow when it comes to that part. I hate to even say that because y'all know I like use that word slow. But I be over there. I just be grinding. Sometimes I forget to look in the back chat on the YouTube side. So I see that the sister gave me definitely a super chat. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Ilva. Thank you, Ilva Angie. I'm grateful. You already know my energy. Y'all know my disposition, right? I'm a humble brother, right? And I look to do the will of my people. So shout out to you all in attendance. Shout out to everybody that's getting it in. And shout out to everybody who's trying to learn something to change their static situation. I say that. Right? As we say, learn to earn, right? Do a little something strange for a little piece of change, right? That's what we're here for, right? Because if not, somebody else is going to be trying to get money, out of us, right? So why not be in a position where we can get money out of them first? See how that works? Some company out there is trying to market to you right now to get money out of you, right? We're trying to get money out of them. Let that marinate for a moment. I got to use my Ralph Smart mode on that. Can I get a hello there? Right? Breathing in all this good house product. Right? What's going on, deep divers? Right? That's what we're doing here. We're deep diving these opportunities. Right? We're looking at these stocks as, again, financial vehicles, because essentially that's what they are. This thing started over here, and then it got in the HOV lane and went way up here, right? It bypassed all the slow traffic over here. These guys that were back, it bypassed them and said, you know what, we're out of here, right? We're out of here, right? You hit the gas pedal, I got somewhere to go. It's that kind of energy. We're out of here. And today, this ticket, got punched today, right? This ticket got punched today, right? It's on its way. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Look where it came from. Look where it came from. Again, how do we establish the history of the stock? We look to the left, right? We always look to the left to establish the history, right? Because in the historical aspect of a stock shows you whether or not this stock, has, value, or it has presented itself in a way where it was, in a growth level where you can see it kind of incrementally increasing to the upside, right? Essentially, in this case, you look at this stock here, that's what you got here, right? You got a pattern that looks just like this, right? Again, couldn't make this stuff up, right? And that's before I even, scrunched the stock down a little bit. This chart here to show you the lower points, but at this point, the stock was just this. It's coming down here, right? You went up a little bit here, right? Kind of like from here to here, and then you pull back right down to the areas like in the midpoint. So this candle here is a little bit lower here, and right, and then this next candle here did what? It rocketed higher, because today this stock did something great, right? It provided something awesome to its shareholders, which obviously allowed the stock to now break out of this kind of trending aspect here, where the stock was just kind of falling, up, then it kind of fell back down, built up some momentum, then it rocketed higher. Of course, when we see a pattern like this, right, now we're getting into patterns, right? We learned this stuff in grade school, right? When you see a pattern like this, well, we know this to be what? What kind of pattern is this, guys? Right? Where my hardcore OG, charting technicians at, right? When you see a pattern like this, right, what kind of pattern is this? Right? What is it called? We call it a what? Right? It's called the what? Let me make sure I duplicate that so we can see the full picture here, right? When we see that kind of level of what? Downshift in price momentum, right? But getting to a point where it starts to stabilize. At this point, it starts stabilizing at or around $1.20 a share, right? To me, that's signifying something very interesting. That's signaling that, okay, they feel confident that this is the new point that we're now going to start to look at the stock at, right? Because it gapped up from down here, from below this thick yellow line, which is 200-day moving average, right? This 200-day moving average became the litmus test of opportunity for the stock. Broke out above that, went higher, made a U-shaped bottom, cup and handle to a degree. It failed a little bit, broke back down, came back, tested this 200-day moving average, wind around it like a snake, like that's how this stuff works sometimes, pulled back a little lower, established its support around $1.20, and said, you know what, we'll play it from this point, because over here, this yellow line, T intersected at around that same point, $1.20. So apparently somebody must be happy about $1.20, right, for it to hold. So when you see that pattern, again, reveal itself like that, you say, okay, this is great, because I've learned this before. When you see price coming down, volume stabilizing, of course you can't necessarily see it there because the volume is so much bigger today, but if I was to kind of stretch the volume out down here, you'll see here where it had moments where the volume was, the green and the red was trying to literally at war with each other, trying to figure out who's going to control the price action or the price stabilization of the stock, whether we're going to go lower or we're going to kind of hit a point where we hit the floor and we're going to bounce around that floor point, give or take, plus minus a certain percentage point or a dollar value point or a cent value point. It could be 5 cents up or 5 cents down. Nonetheless, $1.20 is somewhat the middle, right? And then we waited because something great might have been coming. Well, let's go see. Let's go see if there was something great coming down the pipeline. Okay. What's today? Today is the 4th. So yesterday, this stock obviously got news. They got news about something. And this news had to be superlative for the stock to make such a pop like this, right? So let's go see what the news has to say. right? As they say, I wrote a song about it, like to hear it go, right? Right? I wrote a song about it, like to hear it go. So there's news on this stock that we call news what? A catalyst. There was a driving force behind the stock moving today. So essentially, it has what? It has value, right? It has value, right? I see Brother Contrarian, you got a wedge, right? That wedge, right? Right? What's going on over? Gross Ackerman's in the building. Peace, power, profit over, right? That wedge, right? You see this stuff here, right? You're like, oh man, this is. I understand when I see this wedge or this, the idea of what the wedge is. It signifies this, right? Or it signifies that. That's where this stuff comes. The rubber meets the road, so to speak. Where your skill set now is starting to reflect to you exactly how other people are looking at it too, and there should be an effect or a reaction to this this new wedge pattern coming to a point of reckoning or consolidation or accumulation. Money is starting to aggregate in one area and it's holding a certain support point or floor, and essentially if anything comes out about this stock that is good, it will cause it to now move universally in the direction of the strength or the energy behind people buying at the support, and essentially to move the stock higher. And so today the news is that, which came out yesterday, is that brief, right? Co-Crystal Pharma, right? So we already know it's a pharmaceutical company or a biotech stock, right? Co-Crystal Pharma provides update on COVID-19 antiviral discovery already, right? The key value in this is COVID-19. Like now we're back in school, right? When you have to do them outlines, right? You find that keyword, put it in the middle, circle it, and draw your branches from there. You know it's important because we're talking about COVID-19. The importance of this on a global scale is very, very important, right? So this company provided updates on this COVID-19 antiviral discovery and development program. So they're trying to present basically an antiviral to deal with the coronavirus. That's solid because there's a race to to deaden this virus, at least to beat it back to some kind of form of dormancy, right? Even though we know it's going to be with us from here on out, it's no secret at this point, it's going to be here like the flu going forward. They're not going to be able to eradicate the coronavirus at this point in history. Maybe sometime in the near future or in the future, but as of today, they can't eradicate it. It's going to be here like the flu. So there's going to be a lot of companies trying to come up with some levels of therapeutics, some kind of level of a vaccine, an antiviral, whatever it can do to make sure that this cannot, become a problem for us in our natural daily existence, right? Our normal ebb and flow value of life, going, up and down, our movements. Again, there's a race to come up with something to do to beat back the coronavirus. And so companies who have something of value, a drug or a therapy or whatever they have, they're going to get rewarded. In some cases, they're getting rewarded for that, right? So this company, again, as you see here, they provided an update. So they already was working on something. So this is some news that they're now reporting to its shareholders and the general public and the news media, saying, hey, we may be on to something here, because as of today, our efficacy level or our readout of the stuff that we're using is starting to work a little bit. I'm paraphrasing. Let's read and find out. It says Co-Crystal Pharma Incorporated, CDI 45205. That's pretty much the name of this drug or therapeutic. When you see stuff like that, that's the name that they're using. They're calling the specimen or the ingredients or whatever, right? Show good bioavailability in mouse, right, and rat pharmacokinetics studies via intraperitoneal injection. So this is this is pretty much an aspect of, I don't know if they're going to deliver it in vaccine form, but it showed to be a good viral workload against the virus in rats and mice at this point of the stage of them testing it, apparently, right? But this is positive news for this drug that they have. It's also said it showed no cytotoxicity, right? Cytotoxicity is very important. Understand, read that word, what it means, right? Right, against a variety of human cell lines, right? So that means you don't have any kind of abnormalities within the concoction or the ingredients thus far of this, whether it be it intravenously injected. However, it's not really hurting the human cells of a patient at this point. Of course, in this case, it's rats and mice, right? But that's just an early readout. Now, to investors or bigger pharmaceutical companies, this is attractive to them because if this stock obviously or this company goes on to keep producing good efficacy testing values, then yeah, it could eventually become what? Recognized by the FDA, right? Or a bigger company and say, you know what? I need this company in my portfolio. They're small. I'll buy them out, right? We'll reward the company, buy the entire company out, and it'll be a part of my portfolio. A bigger company like a Johnson Johnson or Pfizer, or those type. Right? So again, Co-Crystal Pharma has obtained promising preliminary pharmacokinetic results and is continuing to further evaluate its CDI 45205 specimen. Basically what they're saying there. Right? And it will also be examining its vitro activities of our compounds against SARS-CoV-2 variants. So we know there's a lot of different variants right now in the coronavirus, right? Some of them are very deadly, right? This thing has morphed, and like we said it was going to do, ain't nothing new here, right? It has morphed, and it's now becoming a bigger problem, right? So, and with that being also said, right, these other virus mutants that are now spun off the original SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus scenario need to be dealt with at a different level than the old recipes that were done, let's say, 6 months ago, right? When things, mutate, right, you have to kind of update your data, update your ingredients or your specimen or your drug, quote unquote, to now fight this other aspect of this new contagion, right? This new contagion, right? Or the the malicious intent behind a virus is to always keep replicating, right? It's trying to live the same way we're trying to detonate, right? So it's going to grow wings. It's going to get inside different host values and take on some of the traits that person might have had, might be comorbidities, other cancers or viruses or whatever. It's just feeding off different hosts, and it's changing and it's growing up basically right in front of us, right? So it's weird to say it that way, but that's basically what's happening. And so there's a need, again, my point, there's a need for these things to happen in terms of companies out there trying to produce something to kind of eradicate this stuff. So today, this company got its ticket punched. And since we've been talking, look what the stock did. The candle has blew through the roof here on my screen. Right? Literally. Right? It has blown through the roof of my screen here. When we was talking about it, it was down here. 310, 309, 308. Since then, it has gone up an additional 13, 14, 15 cents. See how this stuff works? Right? So it's still popping right now as we're talking. Right? That means that someone has made money. Right? Someone has made money even at around the $3 a share when it was pinging at around that point and went up 320. That means they picked up 20 cents a share. So if they came in and bought 1,000 shares at $3, right? And the stock is now going up 20 cents. So guess what? They just made 20 cents on that 1,000 shares. See how that work? Essentially, that means they just made how much? What's 20 cents times 1,000? They've essentially, in that little bit of time, right, just made $200 since we've been talking. That kind of money. That kind of opportunity. Now, I'm sorry, convince me how this is some kind of, this is, beneath you, or you scared, or you, well, actually, I'm wrong. I said 20 cents, it's up to 36 cents. So it's up to 30, it's at 330, so basically 30 cents. So essentially that'll be like $300, right? So $300 and change, right? You'll be up $300 and change in that little bit of time since we've been talking. Let that marinate for a moment, right? Let that marinate for a moment, right? This is what I'm talking about, right? And again, for what it's worth, as I always like to say, disclaimer, I'm in the stock, right? I'm in the stock at $2.08 a share. I got in a little bit below $2. I added to my position. Now my average on this stock is $2.08, right? My average as of now is $2.08 in COCP. Again, the news, to me, I like the news, right? I liked the news, which obviously submitted me the opportunity to get into the stock, doing the pre-market of the market a little bit, and then, watching it a little bit here when it opened up. Uh, you know, all the other aspects of the stock obviously seem to be really good to me in terms of its float value. The short interest on the stock, of course, that's a little bit more, advanced to a degree. Not necessarily you can't learn it. It's just that, I like the pattern that it was showing coming into today, right? Again, I think over Contrarian Trader spoke about it. You see a wedge here, right? We know it as the all-mean, right? All-powerful, right? Right? The all-powerful, right? Falling wedge, right? One of our favorite little patterns, right? That we love because it really denotes what? When you see a falling wedge, that denotes there's going to be a what? A pop at some point. The volume has again consolidated down to a what? A triangular point like a pressure cooker, and it's getting ready to pop. And so, lo and behold, this baby did just that. It popped. Right? That falling wedge stood to be true. And those who were in it, who saw it, and who got the news yesterday on this company's obviously, great, news in terms of its, antiviral discovery. Well, guess what? Again, they're getting rewarded today. So again, if you bought in at $1.20, again with 1,000 shares, right? With 1,000 shares, again, now you'll be up, yeah, a lot. A lot. Right? A lot. Right? You'll be up well over $2,000 in change. And profit. That's profit with a P. Right? Profit with a P. You'll be up over $2,000 in change if you bought $1,000 shares at $1.20. See how that worked? One day you went up basically $2,200. Okay, that's more than people make an entire, week. Some people, 2 weeks, right? Some people 3 weeks. Let that marinate. You made that in a day, right? In a day, right? That kind of reality, right? What's going on over Rich B? Peace, power, profit over, right? Right? So that's what we're training for, guys. Again, this stuff is not rocket science. It really isn't. And I say that because, well, yeah, it's not rocket science to you possibly, brother, over African Emporium, but this ain't nothing that if I can learn it, you can learn it. If Monica Lamb can learn it, and that woman got her hands full every day, all day with a gazillion different tasks, then you can learn it. If Edgy can do it, and she got her hands full too, doing a lot of different things, helping people with business, you can learn it. Over Chris, again, you name it. Everybody in the back chat. Over Rich B, brother Sonny, right? Who else? Our family. Over Sunline in the building. Peace, Brian. Oh, again, everybody. Over Shaz, over Caesar, over Zane, over Gold. Again, everybody got, things in their life that they're being consumed with. But they still find the time to learn, right? They still find time to study. They still find time to, let me open up one of these PDLs or listen to, a building video on YouTube, right? About technical analysis, about fundamental analysis, about support resistance, about price action, about, indicators, oscillators, right? You name it. There's a video out there that's going to give you some information on it for free. I repeat, for free. But if you don't have the interest to want to learn, then guess what? Your curiosity is not going to earn any money, right? It is not, right? It is not, right? So you have to realize that, again, your purpose in this, right? Over Chavez, right? Chavez, right? Chavez, right? You have to realize, guys, you have it. You have what you need, right? And I say that seriously, with all due respect to who the people I give credit to. You guys have what you need. You just have to go out there and act on it. You have to put in the work. This is you going to university without having to go sit in the university, right? Without having to spend the university kind of money, right? Without having to, go through all the headaches, time and gas, and dealing with people, right? Where there's human error, right? That could be involved, right? Here you're running a one-man, basically a one-man shop or one-woman shop. You're doing this again on your time, under your own dime, right? You're doing this on your own time restraints or constraints or whatever, right? So again, that's why this stuff is exciting. That's why people who are in this, when you see them up and down your timeline and they post about all this stock stuff and Dogecoin and all that, right? Speaking of Doge, like gangbusters. And look what happened. Of course, these are my opinions. That's not financial advice. My disclaimer, right, is down in the description box. If you have any questions with that, go down there and read it. These are just my opinions, right? So I'm telling people, again, these are discount moments. Yeah, I'm buying down there. I'm adding to my position, basically. And now, since then, it ain't gone on the win. Over 100%. Essentially up near what? Well, at the top, it hit 200%. It hit 60 cents today, over 60 cents today. So we talking about on April 23rd at 20 cents to now, April the 2nd, whatever. Excuse me, May the 4th, May the 2nd, and May the 1st, it was up near what? Well, today is May the 4th, excuse me. All right, I forgot I'm on the hourly chart. It went up and hit 60 cents. So essentially, again, there's another what? Another 200%. Another 200% move, and, less than essentially what? 12, 15 days, 200%, right? From here to up here, 200% in about 15 days. Again, show me where you can make 200% on your money in a money market account. In a real estate deal that closes in 15 days, it can happen, right? But y'all know what you got to go through to get a real estate closing in 15 days, and you're going to get a 200% profit off that what? Off that sale. Show me where you can do that at, guys. Anybody, right? Anybody, scream, right? Anybody. But but it's Dogecoin, but it's a joke coin. It's this and it's that. Okay. So guess what? Rule of law is that you never invest in anything that, number one, you don't understand, and then number two, you never invest any amount of money in anything that you cannot afford to take a loss on it. It comes with its own level of inherent risk. Your goal is to learn how to mitigate risk, right? Understand what is the risk profile, right? Understand how to manage your risk, and say to yourself, right, what's the chances? What are the probability values within this? The probability bell curve, as we like to use that terminology a lot, especially for my option traders, that this asset has the ability to now continue its growth trajectory, stabilize, go sideways, and incrementally grow, or cease to exist. Weigh those options. If the options come back and read you data that says, hey, this thing still has a lot of what? Potential in it because of this, because of that, then guess what? It's up to you to make that decision. No one's going to pull your arm, right? Twist your arm or your ear. It's totally up to you. But for those who understand it for what it is and realize the power that the wealth transfer just happened last year, went to the what? The most wealthiest people on the planet. They wasn't running to you to give you the game on how they got paid. See how that worked? But you're convinced that you going to work for them is the greatest thing ever. They got wealthier through their investment value, through their stock options, through their what? Ability to own income accruing assets in terms of equities. You earned a paycheck, a finite paycheck. But you're convinced that this kind of stuff and learning about assets and cryptos and forex and options is outside of your lane of discovery. Yet people making money every day, hand over fist, in a myriad of different assets. You're comfortable saying, no, I'm comfortable where I'm at with just a paycheck and a finite value that they're going to allow you to make hourly per week. Convince me how you winning with that kind of mindset. See how that works? This is why we are unique. We are a different breed of people. We were once people who were very skeptic, right? And pessimistic about these kind of things. We might have wanted to, but we were like, nah, I can't do it. You kind of downed yourself before you even got started. Well, guess what? Not today. Not today. We in here today. We in here today. And this is just the beginning, right? This is just the beginning, right? Don't get it twisted. This is just the beginning. Okay, well, let's go back historically. Look right here. Look right here historically. All right, let's go to the daily chart here. Look at his thing here historically. Look at this here. That should give you man. Literally. I mean, literally, right? The beginning of 2021, this asset was sitting at 005. Meaning 005. 100th of a penny. 100th of a penny. Y'all not hearing me. For a lot of people who tune in, might be new to you brothers today. Thank you for tuning in. You trying to figure out whether you should get into this investing stuff, and you see me come on, you see me post a lot, you see other people post a lot, you realize like, why are these people excited about learning how to get invested now all of a sudden, right? Did COVID really mess people up? Like, no, COVID was a good moment in disguise. It sure was. It allowed people to now focus on asset building, asset knowledge, right? Realizing this is what people have used since time immemorial to increase their wealth, meaning assets, some form of asset building, asset acquired, asset acquisition. The same way banks take your money and invest it and make more money for them, not you, for them, not you. Now you get a chance to take the money out your bank and go make your own money for you and not them. Mic drop. Let that marinate for a moment. You now get to put your money to work for you. Convince me how that's going to take away from you. Let that marinate. 005 around the 1st of January, it was at 005. And now it's at 54 cents after hitting 6%. All right, 60%. 60 cents, excuse me. Y'all know how much that is in terms of percentage gain? Do anybody know how much that is in terms of percentage gain? Was 005, right? And now, let's say at the top, 60 cents a share or a token, because we're dealing with tokens here, not shares, but it's not stocks or equity, right? Even though it's easy to say share, but it's really tokens, right? We're dealing with tokens here. What's the difference in that in terms of percentage gain? I want somebody to give me that math real quick in the back chat, right? Somebody get that math for me real quick. It was at 005 the 1st of January of this year and went up here to a high of 60 cents per token. How much did a person just make in 4 months in Dogecoin? That everybody will tell you, man, this is that. Yeah, it very well much is. But it's still an opportunity if you understand how to invest in it and learn how to play within the rules of engagement. And I'm saying that because you're talking about growing your money legally just by parking it in an asset that everybody else is excited about. And the growth value in it is just led by the value of what people are willing to pay. I will be the first one to tell you that. There's no pumping Dogecoin on my channel. I'm going to tell you what it is. It is a novelty coin, a spec coin. But like anything, the same way these people tell you how much you have to pay for a loaf of bread in the store based upon what? The seed, the grain, the process of putting all the ingredients to make it, the growing of it, the tractor fuel that was took the plow up the grain. They factor all that stuff in and say at the finished product, this is what it's going to cost you for this loaf of bread. They put a value on it based upon what those other things cost, right? Those other commodities and raw materials cost in compilation to equate to this one loaf of bread at the grocery store. Value. Whether it's worth that amount or not, who knows, right? Because we say, well, man, if I threw them same grains in my backyard and it grew them same sprout, right? Then I cut it and then I milled it, right? And turned it into, a flour, right? And then took that and then added the other ingredients and baked my own loaf of bread, how much that would have cost me? See how that works? So, yeah, of course, it's going to be about value. It's always going to be about value. What someone values. The same way you may like something somebody else may not. Ultimately, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not an opportunity there. Of course, learn about it. Don't just go blind, 10 toes down in it. Learn about it and realize whether or not this is something that you can what? Invest in or trade in. Right? So, right now, Dogecoin is up over what? Near 7,000%? Something like that? Close to that? Close to near 7,000% in about 4 months. In about 4 months. Easily, right? Over what? 6,000%. Easily over 6,000% in 4 months. Again, can your bank account, right, or do your bank account yield you, right, or has yielded you, right, 6,000% on your money in your money market account as of this year alone, 2020. Go. Since that date right there, January the 1st, this thing is up 6,000 plus percent. It's a six bagger right now, right? It's a six bagger. Right? Equating that a bag, time 1,000, whatever. 6x, whatever. Or if you want to do it, some people do the hundreds, right? Depends on. That's a bag. And it costs you 0.005, under a penny. Essentially, had you put in 1,000 at that point, well, right now that 1,000 will be worth how much? What's 6,000% of $1,000? What is 6,000% of $1,000? Anybody? Because people got that kind of money right now off Dogecoin that hang out with us, who've been hanging out with us, right? Who come from other circles, whatever the case, and they were in around that same time frame, and they put 1,000 on it. Hey, look at her. My brother Shabbat said, what? Look at her. My mama made $800 today off $75 off Dogecoin. See, let me go to the comments and let me highlight some of the comments. See that kind of stuff right there. 100% right, over Brandon. 100% right, Angie. Look at there. $1,000 be worth $60,000 right now. 60,000. And Jugger's looking at you like, I don't know what y'all doing, what y'all talking about with all this Dogecoin stuff. I ain't got time for that, child. I got to go over here and do this, that, and the third. I got to go watch my NBA. I got to go watch my Housewives or who done it or some trivial stuff. Somebody got time for that, but they don't got time to listen to you explain to them how money really works through investments. Oh man, I just don't know what else to say, right? I don't know what else to say, right? Because again, some people just anti-opportunity. It hadn't registered with them quite yet on what they should be submitting their time to. They're comfortable with wasting their time, wasting their money, right? Watching their money have a slow death. I'm like, no, I'm going to put every penny to work that I can. And through my hit and miss reality within that, eventually something's going to break out. Hello, Dogecoin, right? Hello, Bitcoin. Hello, Ether, right? Ethereum, right? Hello, Ethereum Classic. Y'all know I've been beating the drum on Ethereum Classic like for years. Yeah, I've been in Ethereum Classic for $3 level, $4 level, $6 level. Look what Ethereum did today. It went up to how much today? A high of 67. Ooh, get it, African the poor. I'm gonna toot my look at my own horn. See right here, March the 13th of 2020. It was at $4 and change, $3.98, just a year ago. just a year ago and change. $3, and now it's at 67, 66. All right. Ethereum. I'm getting ready to wrap up here, guys. Getting ready to wrap up here. Getting ready to wrap this thing up here. Ethereum. Okay. We would again, just our opinion, right? Our opinions. We were telling people, hey, at around this, $100 level, 110, 120 area, hey, you need to be buying down there. You need to be buying. Okay, let me go down to the mark right here. Let me show you right on my chart because I don't want people to think I'm just talking crazy. You see this line I have on here? You see that trend line I have on here? The start of this trend line starts. Let me blow it up a little bit so you can see it. All right, let me get all of it in here though. See right here? On the 12th of March of 2020, we came down and hit 97 and change, or actually a little lower than that, right? Like 90. So I'll say around 100, you want to pull the trigger right there on Ethereum. And don't think twice. My opinion. Disclaimer down in the description box. My opinion. You want to pull the trigger at 100 and don't think twice. Why? Historical precedence. Last time it was at that price, at or around that price. When was that? Okay, December 2018. See how it bounced around that point? See how it bounced around that point? Anywhere around there between 8, give or take. Again, you have plus minuses there. It weaved around that, that $100 level. Okay, that was lower, $80. But $100, look here. Moving average intersects right there. See the moving average intersected right there at $100? It bounced right at $100. I'm not making this stuff up. People are like, but how you see this stuff and find this stuff? This is how I do it. Look what the moving average bounced at right here, guys. Am I making this up? Right at $100. Right at $100. Let me circle this thing. Some people they ain't feeling me quite yet. They ain't hearing me. Right? I don't think they're hearing you, yo. Right? I don't think they're hearing you, yo, in my Uncle Cat voice. I don't think they're hearing you, yo. See right there? Right at $100, that intersection of 20 moving average. That's why I was able to say, okay, over here, there we go, confirmation. $100, you need to be buying Ethereum right here. What happened since then? It blew off the chart. Look at it. It can't even fit in the chart. All right, let me pull it down. 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 Oh, okay. Oh, you went to $3,500. Oh, in about a year and a couple months since then. So that $100, I put it in $100 back then. Now it's worth $3,500 right now today. Oh, is that what you're saying, brother African Port? Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you was on to something. You always keep talking about this crypto and stock stuff. You keep posting all the time about this stuff. That's all you post about, really, that, right? And fighting inequality and all that. Okay. Oh, that's what you're about. Yep, that's what I'm about, guys. Growth. So we don't look too crazy today, guys. We don't look too crazy when we look back and people were challenging us and, not sure about what we talked about and if we even qualify to talk about this stuff. See, people look, again, y'all got those conversations in your own circles. I already know what you went through. Right? But it's not up for us to prove it to them. It's up to them to prove that they are about that about that life, meaning that they want growth in their life. Right? See, it's that kind of understanding. And we're humbled with it. We're like, hey, when they're ready, they'll come. But all I know is a lot of our bank accounts, a lot of our trading platforms or portfolios, whatever, look mighty nice. Since COVID and now on this side of the COVID scenario, right? COVID's still here, of course, right? But as of now, yeah, we smiling. Right? We're smiling right now. And a lot of people are like, oh, I missed out. I missed the boat. I missed the boat. Did you? Right? Inquiring minds want to know, did you? Right? Hey, we collecting the bag, right? Y'all know. Our puts and our calls, our stock position. We See, we didn't pull them kind of moves like that, right? We didn't pull them kind of moves, right? See, when we woke up and woke up the next day and you open your account up and that thing had a lot of zeros behind it, you be like, oh, right? You went to screaming, boy, like you hit your toe on something. You went to scream. Hey, boy, Joker went to and Joker, they caught one of them kind of bags. After that, they hooked for life, right? They're like, man, look, I ain't never leave this stuff, right? I ain't never leaving this stuff. But I'm sure, shout out to everybody that put a bug in my ear that told me to get invested, right? To learn this stuff, right? To realize that I can control a lot of the things that people told me that I could not. And the one thing you need is control over your resources, right? And I know it's a daily journey. It's a daily grind. I get it. But you don't give up on you, because the same way they took all these years trying to dumb you down to make you feel like this stuff is not important, or it's for the fact that they need you to go work for somebody else to be, you know, to be accepted or to part of the norm or the sheep class of society. Guess what? You done broke all those You broke all those rules. You done broke all of those rules. And it's hard to go back to that once you get this kind of level of knowledge. Have this level of power, right, that will lead you to this kind of profit. It's hard to go back from this. It's hard to backslide, right, from this, right? It's hard to go back to, I want to go get me a job and work for somebody else and just look like, you know, like you just sitting there like, It's hard to go back to that, right? And if you think about going back to that, guess what? It's going to be people like me and everybody in the back chat going to be right there to save you. Right? We're going to be just like that. We're like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you go back and give Mr. Charlie all your genius, all your talent, all your graciousness, all your swag. Don't you go back and do that, because you can do exactly what you need to do if you just take the time, right, and realize how to read money, right, how money works, right, essentially what they're doing every day to you as the employer, right, of you, right, making you work extra hard to meet their goals, their mandates, right, fulfill their needs, their goals, again, their wife need a new Louis Vuitton bag. Who gonna pay for it? Right? Their wives need a new Louis Vuitton bag. Who gonna pay for it? See how that work? Well, it ain't gonna be me. All right? I'm just speaking for myself, but yeah, yeah, that part. Right? This stuff is awesome. Right? I love this stuff. I love this stuff. Right? I love this stuff. Right? Live this, breathe this, right? Right? Y'all know how this stuff go. Love this. Because I do realize that at some point, growth is inevitable. I repeat, growth is inevitable in this. If you just realize that time and money has purpose, right? It has purpose. Once you strategically know how to what? Set a plan for both. When you learn how to set a plan for both, it has purpose. Right? And as much as it says a trading plan, this is more so not just day trading, but investing as well. You got to set a plan. You got to understand the key to success in any entrepreneur, period. Not just a trader, but an entrepreneur, period. They're going to have to know what the marketplace that they're in. When it's the most volatile times of the marketplace that they're in. How long they're going to be in that particular, investment vehicle or investment business model, investment, plan. What are their goals to get out of it? What are they achieving to get out of this entrepreneur endeavor? Right? How much are they going to have to what? Be willing to risk per the opportunity? Right? Which aspects within the entrepreneur value that you're in, right, that you need to be what? Focusing on. And what parts of the day when there's most lucrative to engage in these entrepreneur endeavors? All comes from a trading plan, an investment plan, an entrepreneurial plan. Right? So in closing, again, we're here for a reason. We know the markets are all over the place and people can't make sense of it all. Right? They're trying to figure out, what's the importance of this, why this should be in it, why this should not be in it, why everybody excited about it all of a sudden. Look, chances are, right, if, let's say for instance, like the church theory, if the preacher or the pastor comes and says, hey, we need everybody to give money, right, we just need you to give. You don't know what you're giving for. If there's a particular purpose behind your money, you're just believing that your giving is going to go to a higher cause. Most times the pastor pocket. I'll leave that alone. Right? Move on, brother Africa. Move on. But you're giving because you're doing it in so-called blind faith in unison. Know why? Because if everybody else is doing it too, you don't want to be left out. You see how that works? You don't want to be left out. You don't want to be looked at as a person who did not give or who was acting too cheap. See how society put that pressure on you? Society put pressure on you to do that. Whether you know it has a particular purpose or not, you can't really describe it, diagram it, right? Chart it. You just saying, okay, everybody else is doing it. It got to go to a higher purpose. Over here, guess what? We give to our own value. Because we can chart the perspective. We could put a diagram to it. We could put a goal to it. A real tangible purpose to it. Because there's a benefit that's going to come from it. And people will look at me like, but I stop right there. I'm like, see, this is why. This is why we cannot have growth uniformly across all boundaries, all groups, all races, because there are some people who are backwards hustling and there's other people who are what? Who are forward hustling. If you're not part of those people who are playing chess as opposed to people who are playing checkers, then guess what? You are going to perish financially. You cannot win trying to play or take, quote unquote, the high road of poverty. You trying to take you trying to normalize poverty purveyorship. And we're trying to say, no, that's not how this stuff works. You got to get invested into something that has potential value to accrue profit. Void of you having to touch it every 2 seconds. Work for it every day of the week. Beg for it every other day. You have to let things go out there and grow. Right? So, again, take the time. Learn this craft. Learn this craft. You could do this literally from your free time. Right? You could do this on your free time. Right? Literally on your free time. Right? See right here? Let me go to my picture here. Right? I'm in this kind of attire today. T-shirt attire. Right? I'm about to change and go put on this type of attire, right? Because you know what time it is, right? I'm about to go get this popping, right? It's a lot of people can't say that. I don't take it for granted, but a lot of people can't say that. This is finna become, my afternoon job, right? You already know what it is. When you see this here, you already know what your brother finna get right. You know it's finna go down, right? See, that's what we're working for. We're working to have at leisure opportunities, right? Doesn't necessarily mean my day is over. I mean in terms of my goals, my wants, my needs. Doesn't mean that. It's just that what I have in motion now is going to continuously be in motion while I also go take a break and say, let me go enjoy the world. See how that works? You can't do that, all the time punching the clock. I got to clock in. Again, nothing wrong with that. Don't get it twisted. I'm not coming at it like that. I'm just saying our goal is to be able to catapult from that at some point. That's what we're here for, right? So again, if your little, $100 that you put in Doge at 00, or $1,000 you put in Doge at 005, and now worth 60 grand in 4 months, and you done made more than a person gonna make in this entire year, maybe 2 or 3 people's salary all together, then you must be doing something right. You must be doing something right. Let that marinate. Shout out to you. Right, I'm finna go be a part of the Guggen squad real quick, right? Guggen, I mean, basically mean a newbie fisherman, but even though I ain't a newbie fisherman, but I like the attire, right? Like boy, Roaring Kitty, right? When he testified before Congress in terms of GameStop, he said, "As of me, I like the stock, right? As of me, I like the fish, right?" So again, get excited, guys. Y'all know what we're here for, right? Y'all know what we're here for. Don't take it for granted. Don't take your opportunities for granted. Right, again, you get to grow, Al Green beards and all that. You ain't worry about, clean shaven, going in looking like, for Mr. Charlotte, right? You get the, all that, right? So again, shout out to you all, right? Right, Mukunda, right? Mukunda, right? No, seriously, shout out to you all, and thank y'all for tuning in today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your patronage, right? Again, everybody who supports, this brand in terms of financial literacy, right? Y'all know we like to call this a brand. It's not even about us, right? It's about the goals, right? It's about what we're here for. Shout out to y'all, right? And I'll see y'all on the next one. Be patient, but yet be persistent. Again, time is on your side. I repeat, time is on your side. Don't let nobody tell you different, right? You got 13-year-old kids out there making bags in this. 7-year-old kids are planning to make their bags. As of today, they're learning. 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. What's your excuse? Well, see, okay. I'll leave it at that. All right, shout out to everybody. So peace, power, profit, everybody. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you guys back in, the Discord rooms and the groups and whatever. Again, be cautious. Y'all know how this stuff works. You've made some money. Right, you're gonna continue to make money, but make sure you always protect what you done made, and that's the name of the game, right? And to build on that and take it further, right? So again, y'all know what we're here for, right? We know what we're here for, right? Let's not forget that, right? So stay studied up, stay ready, go through your old notes, again, go through the old videos, again, get with other people who talking money, surround yourself with people who moving around money, right? So you can obtain money as well, right? It's on us now, right? It's our time. Let's go. All right, so shout out to everybody. Peace, power, profit, everybody. I'll see y'all guys on the next one, right? I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody. Peace.